I'm here with Elizabeth Slavitt. What do you do here at the Khan Academy?
Well, I work on the school implementations team, which means that I work with schools that want to use Khan Academy software to individualize in their classrooms and to be really innovative. I work with them to figure out how to make that happen. And I also work on lots of different parts of the product and things too. Since we're a startup, we all kind of do everything.
And what were you doing before this, and kind of what's kind of like the arc of your career? Like what did you think you were going to do when you were in college, and what did you end up doing, and then how did you essentially end up here?
Sure, yeah, those are great questions. So, in college, I studied history at Penn. I studied actually intellectual history, so the history of ideas, and I focused a lot on human rights. And I really was interested, and still am interested in human rights and how that term changes in meaning over time. And I thought about spending my career in human rights in some way, which is very vague and kind of this very esoteric idea.
Idealistic sounds good though.
Idealistic, yes, but also kind of vague. And after college, I wanted some tangible skills, so I went and worked as a management consultant at McKinsey, where I got to help solve a lot of really interesting problems. And
So to work at McKinsey, coming out of you must have been a pretty good student.
oh, I was a good student.
Like McKinsey, they don't, if you have straight C students, they don't interview, right?
Yeah, I guess not.
Right. You were well, anyway. But what was your thought about it? Because you went from a very idealistic, human rights, save the world to, I'm going to go, whisper in CEOs' ears and tell them how to run their company. What was
there's a lot of whispering.
Yeah, exactly. No, so I'm obviously. So what was the thought McKinsey's a great company, obviously. So what was the thought process of deciding to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I felt like coming out of college, there's actually an interesting article recently about this in I think the Atlantic, about how a lot of people go and study these really kind of esoteric things, and then they're like, I don't have any skills. Let me go become a consultant or work on Wall Street or something and learn some skills. And that was kind of true for me. I knew I wanted to solve complicated problems. Wasn't quite sure how to do that, and I knew McKinsey solved complicated problems. So even if they weren't exactly the problems I wanted to solve long term, I thought it'd be a good way to get some skills, and also just to understand like how the world works, how the economy works, all these things that seemed kind of vague to me that I thought I could kind of get a window into.
And so what was that experience like? Was it what you expected?
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot there. It was a great education. In a lot of ways, it was like being in school, because every few months you're learning something new, and you're learning all these different industries and solving all these crazy problems that are probably like way beyond anything I should have been thinking about at that point in my life. But it was fascinating, and the people were really smart, so I got to learn a lot from them. And
you were very young, and you were in kind of rooms with, heads of corporations and executives, and
yeah,
it must have been pretty neat.
Yeah, it was cool and also kind of scary and weird. And there were times I thought, like, man, this should be a novel or something.
Oh, really?
So,
I haven't heard about those. That'll
so
be
weird.
Future videos.
Yeah, but
We'll change the names.
No, I mean, it was great. And I learned a ton, but I knew I still wanted to kind of get back to the problems that were really interesting to me. And McKinsey does work on that to some extent, but a lot of what I was doing were problems that were different than the ones I really wanted to spend my time on. So I thought maybe I'd go get some more skills and go to law school. And as we've talked about, I was planning to go to law school right after McKinsey and work on human rights, go back to what I really had wanted to do for a while. And then I heard about Khan Academy, and it just sounded really exciting. And, of course, I know I'll embarrass you, but I watched the TED Talk. I was very inspired. I'm very excited. And I heard that Khan Academy was looking to put together a schools team to work with schools, and it sounded exciting to me. And so here I am.
Was there anything kind of that was because you were on this kind of a fast track. You were at McKinsey. You spent what 3 years?
3 years.
3 years at McKinsey, and actually I saw some of your reviews. You were like one of the most highly rated person Shantanu told me that like the type of ratings Elizabeth gets, not very few people at McKinsey get. And so you're on this fast track. You're set probably for a very good law school. What was it? Just the mission that we're it's education? Was there something like what spoke to you about this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, it was largely the mission. I think that mission means a lot to me, and knowing that I could get up every morning and work on something that I'm really excited about was a lot of it. But there's also something even bigger than the mission. I mean, if there's anything bigger than educating the whole world for free, I don't know. But I think it was getting to start something new. It was this idea that, like, how often in your life does someone come along and say to you, be part of this team that's building something that doesn't yet exist. And it's not just like sort of different than a bunch of other things that exist. It's something totally new that's trying to solve a really, really tough, entrenched social problem. And it's a startup, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but it's going to be with a lot of really smart, dedicated people who really want to make a go of it, and that's exciting. And I think that I just felt like, I could kind of stay on the tried and true path, and I'm sure that would have been rewarding in its own right, or I could branch off that and try to build something from scratch with a lot of other awesome people and try to make a go of it and really try to solve this problem. And I just felt like I couldn't pass up the opportunity.
And you joined, it was been about 7 or 8 months now
Yeah,
at the time we're doing this interview in was late February of 2012.
Yeah.
And is there anything that's been surprising, or it's just as you expected? It's exactly as you visualized it while you were about to leave McKinsey, or disappointing? What's kind of your view of things so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd have to have like an amazing crystal ball or something to know exactly what it would look like. I really didn't exactly know what I was getting myself into at all, but it's been
That's how
really
I live
exciting.
my life. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's been really fun. I've been really happy to be here. I think some of the things that have been surprising have just been kind of the scale of change and the pace at which we're working. I mean, I guess when I joined in July, we'd worked with one school district, Los Altos, and we're still working with them, but instead of working with 4 teachers there, we're working with like a whole bunch of teachers in the district, about 40 of them, and then we have all these other schools we're working with as well.
There's like 10,000 people.
10,000 people.
Right? Apparently, that's probably 12,000 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's growing so fast, and what's amazing is like, we're working really closely with these schools, and that's great for those few schools, and that's where we're really seeing a lot of the innovation. But then, every time we discover something exciting at a school we're working with, we can just throw it up online, and then all these other people around the world can see it and use it too. Or we'll say, oh wow, it'd be great if we had exercises on this topic, or features on our site that would help schools in these ways, and then we can create them with the rest of the team, and then suddenly there's millions of people around the world who are benefiting from those. So it's this like really fast, rapid movement from having an idea to making the idea happen to having it affect a lot of people. And I think that's something that's exciting probably about software in general, but especially here where it's like, we don't have a way for people to graph linear equations. Let's create a way for them to graph linear equations. Oh wow, look, 1 million people just graph linear equations, and that's exciting to see.
And is there anything, I mean, what are your hopes, over the next couple of years or whatever? I mean, what are you hoping to see happen?
Well, I'm hoping that we're going to reach a lot more people around the world. I'm hoping for a lot of things. I mean, as someone on the schools team, I'm really excited about helping to kind of push the boundaries on education. I think there's a lot of people in education who've been coming up with lots of innovative ideas and wanting to do a lot of things for a long time. Teachers really want to meet the needs of all their students, but they haven't had the tools to be able to do that. And teachers might have been willing to question a lot of assumptions in education, but haven't really had the right tools to make that happen. So I'm excited to work with those kinds of teachers in those schools to say, like, let's get rid of age-based grouping. Let's throw out all these kind of basic assumptions we have about a 9-month school year and about students kind of plodding along from 45 minutes of this to 45 minutes of that. Why do you have to have math class separate from science class separate from art class? I'm excited to work with schools that want to kind of break those boundaries down and see what we can do to make learning more exciting and more engaging for students, and then take whatever we learn there and help translate that through our platform to the rest of the world, so that people who even aren't in schools like that can still have similar exciting learning experiences.
Very cool.